Alrighty, today we're going to make this spaceship in Blender 2.8. Woohoo! Finally! So first, let's get in here and just drag this right into 2.8 into the little gridded area, and then we can zoom out a little bit. And I'm going to open this up a little bit like that. And so let's look at this thing for a second here. We've got a couple of primitive shapes like cylinder, big box, another big box, and more cylinders and more boxes. So even though it looks like it might be kind of a complicated shape, really it's just a bunch of primitives that are connected together, and sometimes they're doing little trapezoid shapes, and sometimes they're transitioning into each other, but for the most part it's pretty simple geometry. So let's start off by just trying to block out the main shapes that we can see so far. So we've got first this big cylinder on top. Let's go. So I'm just going to click on this top face here, and then, oh yeah, let me turn on my shortcut keys. So this is a nice little add-on by J&M. But anyway, so I'm going to go Shift A, and let's make a 32 side circle like that. Alright, and then I can go Shift Spacebar to extrude that downwards a little bit, like that. So as we're going through here too, take note on the right side we have all the hotkeys that we're using here. So the one I just used was Shift Spacebar, which gives us an extrude. And this is an enhanced extrude that gives us a bunch of, it's a little bit more powerful than the regular Blender extrude, but that's all you need to know. All you need to know is that it's awesome and it will make your life easier, but the cool thing is you don't have to know how to use it, it'll just work. Anyway, so we've got this big cylinder. Let's grab another one here, and if I want to rotate my view now, I'm going to rotate it using my middle mouse. So I got middle mouse, control middle mouse, and shift middle mouse for rotate, zoom, and pan. So let's rotate the mouse a little, rotate the view, shift middle mouse to pan, and then I can duplicate this little face here by clicking on it, then Shift D will duplicate it, and now we're in move mode. But if I press spacebar, it will lock us in the green Y direction. So this green line with the arrow is the Y axis. So again, spacebar and spacebar again will lock us in the green direction. Let me hit X to delete that and just do that one more time. Click this top, Shift D, green, and then spacebar to lock in the green axis. S will scale it like this. So I've got it about there and there, and I could extrude here too. That's again Shift spacebar to extrude. Okay, so I'll just leave that there for now, and maybe this one, I can double click this cube to select it, double click, S to scale it down, okay, spacebar and Z, spacebar. Spacebar by itself gives us a free move, Z will lock it in the blue up and down direction. So again, S spacebar will lock that scale in the Y direction, S spacebar, spacebar, spacebar. So spacebar just gives us the move tool, and then spacebar again gives us the lock. Spacebar Z, spacebar Z. And if I want all three of these to be in the same plane, so 1, 2, 3, I can hold down Shift and click 1, 2, 3 on these three faces, and then go Control Alt spacebar. Now this is a little flattening pie, and it also gives us 90-degree rotations on the right side, but on the left side we have flattens. So I can flatten it in the top view like that, and we can do the same thing over here, but actually I'll leave it like this for now. I'm going to grab these two, Alt spacebar will give us a little inset like this. That's Alt spacebar. And we could do the same thing here. well actually just for this one, Alt spacebar, spacebar Z. So what I did there was an Alt spacebar gives us an inset, and I just move my mouse, click, and then spacebar gives us a free move, and then Z is vertical. Okay. So what's next? We've got a big box going the other way too. We can go Control Space, or actually let's go back to faces. Click this face, Shift D, Z. So now we're moving that down. We could go S and X to make it go sideways, and then Shift Spacebar again until we have this shape here. Okay. So this is a very oddly shaped shipping container, but that'll do. So now we're going to grab this top face again, Shift D, Z, and let's go Control R to bring in a loop. So depending on where we're hovering, we'll get a different direction for our loop. And it's a little bit confusing as you're hovering over all these different edges, but it goes crazy, right? But what it's actually doing is, depending on which edge you hover over. So if I hover over this bottom edge, it's going to give me a perpendicular cut to that bottom edge. If I hover over this vertical edge, it's going to give me a horizontal cut. That's perpendicular. So remember, it's perpendicular. It's going to make a T with whatever you hover over. So I'm just going to click on that bottom edge to make a cut right there. And then B. Oh, sorry, I did it on the wrong part. I wanted to do it on this upper part, so I'm going to do it again. Control R, just click, and then B to drag that out like that. Right? So, and then let's double click this again, and I'm going to go Control Spacebar, which gives us our different modes here, and I'm going back to face, because when we do a loop cut, it automatically throws us into edge mode, which we are in right now. You can also see it up here on the top left, but what we want is face mode, so I'm going to go Control Space, face, and now we're in face mode. You can also see it up top. This is face. So now Shift Spacebar again, and then Spacebar Z. So now I'm making this little house roof shape right there. And let's do it again. Control R. This time I'm going to hover over this edge. Click. B will bevel. So B, I'm just moving my mouse a little bit. And I can go Control Spacebar and then border. Control Space, border. Now it's got those two edges. And I'm going to press B again for another bevel. B, and just move over a little bit. Okay, so that what I've just created is this little part right here. But now all we got to do is grab these top faces and move them up. So I can do that by hitting Control Spacebar, faces, click, 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 oops, oops, grab that one, grab that one, grab that one. If you're having trouble selecting stuff, you can also double click this piece. Shift H will hide everything else. And then now we can select in peace. Oh, okay, there we go. So spacebar and Z will move us up a little bit to get that ridge there. And then we could go Control Space Edges, and I could go through here and pick all these edges, but a faster way to do this is Alt click. So Alt click will always give us the entire loop of edges, which goes all the way around. So Alt, Alt, Alt click. If I hold down Alt click here and then Shift Alt click, that'll add another section over there, and then I can hit B till about there, and then S. Okay, so the important part about this is you're hitting B and S. You're not hitting B, move your mouse, and then clicking the mouse, and then hitting S. This is what you would get if you clicked your mouse in between the two steps. We're not clicking the mouse. B, S. B, move your mouse, S, move your mouse. Okay, and then Control Shift H will unhide. And to deselect, you can just drag your mouse off to the side a little bit. Alright, so now we've got this shape. Okay, so on second thought here, this cube that we had in here, I'm gonna move it down out of the way, SZ. I'm gonna turn this into this little platform over here, and we'll do the connections in between the circles a different way. That might be a little easier. So I'm gonna make this cube go all the way out to the end. Alright, so now for this little bridge right here and for this little bridge right here, I think we can use the cylinder walls themselves as a guide. So let's grab a few of these here. Actually, maybe it's more like over here. Okay, and then X will delete those. And now we could grab this edge right here, Shift spacebar, and spacebar. So the same old extrude that we used before will work here for edges. So let's do the same thing over here. We'll delete a couple of faces here, and the matching faces over here. And I don't have to go all the way across actually, because we're going to mirror all of this anyway. So I can just be lazy here for a second. And then I could also, I can see that this is maybe not even here, so let me grab this one and this one. I've got two edges here, so I'm Control Space Edge Mode. Click one, click the other. Shift B will bridge in between those two. Shift B, and then same thing here. Pick one, hold down Shift, click the other edge, and Shift B will bridge right there. Alright, so now we can mirror all of this over with Shift X, which is our symmetry pie, and then if I move over to the X direction, click. That should give us a nice mirror like this. Now we've got two holes on the top and the bottom, which I want to get rid of. And also it seems that I've created a little edge here that I don't want. So I'm going to grab this edge in particular, hit D, and then delete only the edges and faces. So let's delete only edge. If I were to delete it with regular X, it would delete the verts also. But I only want to delete the edge, so I'm going to hit delete, and then edge, edges. Delete edges. Okay, so now I've got this business up here. I can Alt-click that hole, or actually, yeah, Alt-click that hole and press F to fill it with a face. Okay, same thing down here. Do F. So now we've got that all nice and tidy. And then over here, I think we are okay. Okay, so what else is here? And remember, we're just trying to keep it very, very basic so far, so I'm not going into any of these little details over here yet. You can see we've got a boxy looking thing over here, a cylinder over here. So let's go back to the front, grab this edge, or you can even grab these two faces here, and then Shift A will bring up our add pie. Now we can create a big cube over here. Move that over. And I might want to delete this arrow at this point, so I'm going to go Control Space Object Mode. So now we're on Object Mode, and I can select this arrow object. You can also see it up here on the top right. Here's our arrow object. Hit X to delete it. And then I'm going to click back onto our original cube object, and then go Control Space Face. So now I can grab this face, scale it, and scale it this way. Let's see, what else do we have here. You know, this shape is a little bit complicated, so I might actually try to draw this out. So the way we could do that is we go to side view by pressing V for the views pie, which is over here, V, and I'll go to right view, or maybe left view, V, left view, and so now I want to draw this out. I could do this with K. Oops. What's going on here? K. Click. Whoa, what is this? Something weird with knife tool all of a sudden, but it's okay. We can also do it another way. I'm going to go to verts mode here, so control space vert. Now you see the little dots, which are verts. I'm going to shift D to duplicate this vert. Control click, control click, control click, control click, control click. Control click, and there we go. If I want to straighten these out, I can pick two, hit Control Alt space for that flatten pie again, and I want to flatten the top, and same thing here, flatten the top. Go here, flatten the top, and you could even grab these guys, these verts, holding Shift and then B to bevel them a little bit. Control X will kind of erase those verts if you want to redo the bevel. So you could pick 2B, pick 2B. You can flatten these, Control Alt space, and I want to flatten the front like this. Alright, so now we can just double click this line, hit F to fill it up, and then Shift spacebar, and then X. And then Shift X and X. That'll mirror us up. So I'm just double clicking this and hitting X to delete it. S. And there's also this cylinder here, so let me drop that in. I'll click these two faces, Shift A, and add a 32 side circle, move it down a bit, and then Shift spacebar. And you can always go Alt space to inset that, spacebar twice to block it in the front direction. I'm using Alt space here and Shift space here, and then S. Alright, I think this is a nice spot to take a little break, and yeah, we got our block-in underway, and we'll keep going in the next video.